with my friends a question, and you have a shot clock worth of time to give your answer. Let's start in the East. The 6-3 matchup here between the Pistons and the Knicks. Cade Cunningham has owned the Knicks this season, 31 points per game, leading the Pistons through a 3-run record against New York. UD, was this a regular season mirage, or could New York be looking at an early postseason exit?
New York could be looking, and I think they will be looking at an early postseason exit. I am going with Detroit in this series. They are young, they are energetic, they are physical. They're looking at an opportunity in front of them. I think nobody expects them to win. I do believe that the physicality will come into play in this series. In the 7-game series in the playoff, it slows down, so they are the more physical team. And I believe that Cade Cunningham will be the best player in this series.
Oh, see, that was a buzzer beater there. That's coming from a 3-time champ there. But the question is, which point guard, you're right, is going to shine more? And is OG the answer maybe on Cade, right? Out in the West, the 5-4 matchup between a resurgent Clippers team that ended the season on an 8-game winning streak and the Nuggets, who fired their coach, but they still have a triple-double averaging Nikola Jokic. So, Windy, who is the more intriguing team in this matchup?
I think the Clippers are one of the most intriguing teams we got going. I mean, if you want to call them a 5-seed, go ahead. They are playing the best basketball in the league right now. Their defense has been terrific, and ever since Kawhi Leonard really got going in the last third of this season, he is putting up numbers and efficiency that remind me of him in the 2019 title run. I cannot wait to see Jokic go to work for the Nuggets and see Kawhi Leonard and James Harden work together. I think this could be a fascinating series, and I'm not afraid of the violation.
He's not afraid of the violation. All right, then there's the 6-3 series between the Timberwolves and the Lakers. We'll get rid of the shot clock for this one. Anthony Edwards had a career season averaging almost 28 points per game. Luka Doncic was part of the most earth-shattering trades in NBA history. Lake Show Luka has been worth the price of admission, averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, almost 8 assists during the regular season. The Lakers, they do head into the playoffs with their highest seeding since winning the 2020 finals. We don't need to talk about that, UD. It's okay. ESPN Bet has them as the big favorites in the first round. The Lakers and the Wolves, they've not met in the playoffs since 2004 in the West Finals. And if you're curious how long ago that was, Anthony Edwards, he hadn't turned 3 yet. So, Brian, what is the biggest question in this series?
So, watching Luka and LeBron play is fascinating. They both kind of do the same things to teams in the playoff series. They can do so many different things. They wear the opposition down. But what I'm focused on is whether Anthony Edwards can be the star of this series. Because last year when he played against Luka in the conference finals, he didn't have his best stuff. He was worn out from that second-round series against Denver. He didn't understand what it took to moderate his energy level. He never even scored 30 points in a game in that series. He had 2 40-point games against the Nuggets. And by the way, Luka averaged 33. So, look, it's not about the most points you can score, but if you're going to beat the Lakers, especially without home court, you got to have Ant be the best player in this series, or best player at least 4 times in this series.
He can't just be on offense. He's got to be a dog on defense.
Right.
He's got to hold guys accountable.
Absolutely.
He's got to take the matchup against Luka sometimes. He's got to take the matchup against Bron sometimes. When the guys in your locker room see that, that only inspires the guys in the locker room. And they're going to need others. They're going to need Naz Reid. They're going to need DiVincenzo, who's explosive. They're going to need Jaden Daniels. They're going to need the others to chip in. Do they win this series? I don't know, but I agree Ant-Man has to be the star that shines the brightest in this series.
And how will he handle the double teams, right? He's one of the most blitzed and double-teamed players in the NBA. It's a good thing we have a couple more days for UD to cook up some breakdowns.
Just 5 for 3. That's what he's been doing.
Show us how it's going to be done here. Hey, before we go, we just want a long preamble, but there is a whole lot going on right now in Dallas, so we need to set all of this up properly. You were set to travel to Sacramento, but you stayed in Dallas to be able to attend this meeting that was off the record between general manager Nico Harrison and a select few members here of the Dallas media. It was called a little bit last minute. What can you tell us about what came out of that conversation?
Well, we were able to use our audio recorders, which had to be negotiated beforehand. It was that kind of an awkward situation, and frankly, it was overdue. It was way past time, 2.5 months after the trade, for Nico Harrison to hold the first media availability that he had in Dallas. Now, it was only 15 members of the media, but Malika, this was an alarming lack of logic expressed by Nico Harrison and an astounding amount of tone deafness. And it did, as far as trying to get the fans back on board, it was a complete airball. And by the way, one of those fans is a fella who's got a statue outside the arena. It's right off Nowitzki Way. It's a street named after this gentleman, big German dude named Dirk Nowitzki. He has been out on this franchise for a while. He refers to himself as a Mavs fan. It has nothing to do with the inner workings of the franchise because of decisions made by Nico Harrison, and I'm talking about way before the Luka trade. One of those decisions, the firing of Casey Smith, a man who is as respected in the NBA medical community as anybody, one of Dirk's best friends, and obviously the Mavericks have had some medical issues this year. I asked Nico Harrison about that. He said it's almost a joke to bring it up. I promise you this. Mavs fans ain't laughing, and Dirk Nowitzki sure as hell doesn't find that funny. Patrick Dumont's listening, by the way. This has been one heck of a learning experience for him in his first full year as an NBA governor. I think it's come to the realization that he's got a massive mess on his hands. He's got some decisions to make to begin the cleanup process in Dallas.
Yeah, as you reported, Nico Harrison said many times when he was asked to sort of explain the logic of trading away Luka Doncic that defense wins championships, insinuating that he doesn't think that that could have happened with Luka there, although they went to the NBA Finals last year. Tonight, though, the stakes couldn't be higher for the Dallas Mavericks. Beat Sacramento, and they have a chance to be in the playoffs. Lose, and their season is done. Sacramento is hoping to have something to say about all this. And when the Kings win, they light the beam. Do you think that they would, I don't know, invite you to do that tonight?
Hey, we might even be able to get a camera on that one. That'd be awesome.
As someone who has lit the beam once, Tim, I can tell you it is a true out-of-this-galaxy experience. Tim McMahon, thank you so very much for stopping by NBA Today. We appreciate it. Enjoy tonight's game. So after all of that, they still have an elimination game here tonight. I'm here with Udonis Haslem here to break down this big man battle that we are going to see, because they need to block out the noise, the Dallas Mavericks do, and be able to lock in on the court. Let's set the stage, though, in all of this, because up until recently, right, UD, it's been one-sided, this matchup, Domantas Sabonis and Anthony Davis. His team's won the first 10 games that he played against Davis, but then AD's squad has won these last 4 meetings. Obviously, the squads have changed a little bit here. What will AD be facing on the floor tonight?
Well, this game is definitely going to come down to these two bigs, and Sabonis has had some success against AD, but it hasn't been just him. If we freeze it right here, once AD gets the ball right here, they're shrinking the elbows, making sure this defender, if he goes middle, is going to give him trouble. This is where Austin Reeves needs to pull around a little bit just to get in AD's vision. So now he gets the shot, but it's technically against 2 people. So even though he played good defense and kept his chest between him and the basket, you freeze it here. Once again, his chest is between AD and the basket. He's staying in front. We got help again from the wing here. So what I've seen teams be able to do is, Sabonis, keep your chest in front. We're going to help you from the wings. We're going to sink from the elbows. AD is never technically going to go one-on-one tonight. There's always going to be some help. He needs to have his eyes peeled, and the shooters need to get in his vision so he can make them pay.
And I wonder, he's been playing the 4 more with the Dallas Mavericks, right? Having those multi-big lineups that Anthony Davis, we know he enjoys playing with. If he's going to have those same issues that you just laid out when he was on the Los Angeles Lakers, it's going to be a matchup to watch in this one. And we'll have it for you. The NBA play-in tournament games on ESPN. It starts with the Bulls and the Heat. Then it's the Mavericks and the Kings. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown. That's at 7 o'clock. Bucket. It's like a hot date. The Heat and the Bulls, they are the 2 teams it feels like you can always pencil into the play.